G'day everyone, how's it going? It's me, your mate Castlegate, and I'm bringing another video about Gemcraft Labyrinth. Hey, guess what? Yeah, that's right, I finally got it. I've got my 400 battles won, and I've got this journey amulet. And, well, no surprise, it kind of continues the pattern of these three because these are other similar win this many battles journey amulets. So there you go. Finally got all of the amulets. Now I need to actually go ahead and polish off the rest of these and also review and make sure that I've actually got the maximum possible score for all of these other fields that I've done previously, because I think maybe for some of them I might have fallen asleep on it and accidentally maybe completed them without like getting the all of the battle amulets, specifically related to things like killing this many monsters with shrines. I think when I started this journey early on, sometimes I just forgot about doing that. Like, for example, what do we have here? These ones might be okay, but I might need to review this one and this one. I'm pretty sure this one needs to be done again. But yeah, there is a website that actually does list the maximum possible score for each and every single field outside of the pylon fields. And I'll just have to, once I've completed this, painstakingly just go over and just check visually every single field to make sure I've got the maximum possible score. And once I've done that, then I'll start working on these crafting pylon fields. That's going to be interesting, but we're not doing that today. We're just going to go ahead and do just yet another field, a random field that hasn't been done previously, not completed with the highest possible score. And I'm also going to talk about a couple of other things too. Specifically, we're going to talk about the Bloodbound gem, and we are also going to talk about traps versus towers. Um, when it comes to actually making your final kill gem where you send all of the waves and so forth, that particular gem, do you put it in a trap or do you put it in a tower? Spoiler alert, long story very short, it doesn't really matter, if I'm going to be honest. And also, long story short, with the Bloodbound gem, Bloodbound kind of sucks in Gemcraft Labyrinth. It's a different story because it works differently in Gemcraft Chasing Shadows, and you've got no choice. You have to use it, and the Pullbound gem in Gemcraft Frostborn Wrath because, well, those traits are built into all of your gems anyway. So, yeah, there's that to consider. Let's see. Where do I put this? No, I'll put that there. Why not? We'll block off all of this. I'll just get rid of Hue and get started on doing all of this stuff. Now, Bloodbound. There's always been a little bit of a discussion about Bloodbound. And I think that's because people forget how it works in Gemcraft Labyrinth. Gemcraft Labyrinth was the first game in Gemcraft series where Bloodbound was introduced as a gem type. Um, I think. I'm pretty sure it was not a type in Chapter 0. Yeah, fairly certain it wasn't a type in Chapter 0. Chapter 0 had a different type. But Bloodbound here kind of sucks because it only works on your gem's kills, not even your total kills. So as soon as you merge that gem or something like that, it loses all of its kills and that resets to 0. The total kills will remain high, but it doesn't really mean anything functionally for Bloodbound. Your kill count is what really matters, the top one of those two kill counters. So, yeah. Honestly, when it comes to playing the game like I do, where you've got, most of your stuff set up and you've got lots of skills, the last thing you want to be doing is wasting your time waiting for the right amount of mana to just upgrade by pressing the U key one of your gems. No, you want to upgrade it maybe 4 or 5 or even 6 grades higher than what you can afford to do with your mana pool because, well, it's just quicker and more efficient that way. So that's the first issue with Bloodbound, but unfortunately the news just gets worse and worse from here because it's not the only issue. Let's see, what else can I tell you about Bloodbound? Well, like I said, functionally, it also works differently here than it does in Chasing Shadows. Now, in Chasing Shadows, the total amount not the actual amount for the gem, contributed towards the bloodbound component of the gem, which meant that you could combine gems and so forth, and it would still be perfectly fine. You would still keep those numbers that would contribute to your bloodbound, but in this version, it's different because it works off the total kills that you've done. Whereas in Gemcraft Chasing Shadows and Frostborn Wrath, it's based on the number of times you've hit a monster. So very fundamentally different. It's much more useful and much easier to get much higher numbers contributing to your Bloodbound component in Chasing Shadows and, well, Frostborn Wrath. You've got no choice, it happens. But still, those contributions happen and they're more effective than they are in this game because it only works on your kills. And if I'm going to be blunt, you don't really kill that many monsters. So, yeah, going ahead and using Bloodbound as opposed to using um, just multiple hit and chain hit on their own, maybe mixing in a little bit of Bloodbound, or maybe even dropping, say, I don't know, chain hit, for example, and just using Bloodbound and multiple damage or something. I've already done the testing, and trust me when I say Bloodbound is just not worth it. It simply isn't. I ended up making a grade 31 gem with these two components and another one with these two components and Bloodbound mixed into it. And you know what? Just because it went from a 2 component to a 3 component gem, the one with the Bloodbound, it ended up doing an effective amount of damage calculated about, what, 70%, around about, not even, around 60, 64%, less than, around about, no, it was 67%. So it was just a little bit more than 2/3 the effective damage that could be done by a gem that didn't even have it. And also when I went ahead and removed one of the components, well, that was pretty much the swan song for Bloodbound because these two gem components, both chain hit and multiple hit, admittedly, it actually only comes into effect when you have more than one monster being hit by your gem shots, but effectively these things multiply the effective damage of your gem in the thousands, whereas this multiplies the effect of your damage for your gem in the, well, it's around 5%. So 5% versus hundreds of thousands of percent extra damage potential on your gem. I'm pretty sure you can see where I'm going with this. Bloodbound is useless, absolutely useless in whatchamacallit, the Gemcraft Labyrinth. So I hope that clears something up for you. Don't bother with Bloodbound in here, but do bother with Bloodbound in Gemcraft Chasing Shadows. It's definitely very different. It's also a different color. I think the gem is black. Um, yeah, Bloodbound is awesome in that one, and you get a hell of a lot more value for your mana if you actually spend the time actually doing lots of gem weaving or super gemming, whatever you want to call it as well. So yeah, things to consider. But I've done the testing off screen. Um, my recommendation, if you're playing Gemcraft Labyrinth, ignore Bloodbound completely. It's all about these three. You can mix chain hit with either multiple damage to make a gem that does maximum amounts of damage, or you can mix it with your mana gathering component to go ahead and make your mana farm gem. That's really the only three components you need to worry about. The only time I would even consider looking at any of the other components is maybe shocking and slowing combined with chain hit in maybe some trapped gems near the orb if you're really, really in a bind and you need to quickly try and slow down monsters going to your orb to buy yourself more time to upgrade your gems to kill monsters that might be, threatening to go through. You don't want monsters touching your orb, but that's an edge case. You really, if you're playing this game, wisely, then you shouldn't even get to that point ever. So, did I upgrade my? Yep, I did. Perfect. With that out of the way, let's burn down all of those and get cracking on this. Now, As usual, I'm going to just upgrade this once. Yeah, it really is a double kick in the teeth with Bloodbound. It could have been an amazing gem, but I suppose the author was just trying to experiment with something new, and it kind of didn't really pan out very well because no one really talks about using Bloodbound in Gemcraft Labyrinth ever. Let's be honest, it kind of sucks. Yeah, those two major things. Number one, it's based on kills, not hits. If it was based on hits, then oh my God, this would be a very different story. It would contribute quite a fair bit. It might not be worth enough to replace these two, but it might offset the deficit of going from a two component to a three component gem and still end up giving you more damage output totally. But that was definitely a kick in the teeth for this particular one. And you know what? The final nail in the coffin, if I'm going to be honest, was easily that it's every time it's based off just the kill counter for that particular current gem. As soon as you merge it with another gem, that gets reset to zero. That is just brutal. I mean, yeah, as far as normal gameplay is concerned, early game and maybe even mid game, it might still be a little bit useful. But in late game, where you're doing things like I am, you're, smashing through all of these endurances, forget it. It's not worth it. There's no value in it at all. Just avoid it. Much like poison and armor tearing and even shocking and slowing. Just avoid all five of these in the middle and bottom row. These components, they're useless. Only focus on the top row. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I think that's why the game author put them all in the top row because they knew that these three were probably the most useful, the ones you want closest to your gem combining area, especially during the late game for us hardcore gamers. Hardcore gamers? I'm not sure we call ourselves hardcore gamers. We're just playing Gemcraft. Hardcore Gemcrafters, I suppose, because they're the only useful ones. Anyway, let's get cracking on and let's finally finish this thing. Let's see. I'm just cranking all of these up to about 50,000. I should also start to upgrade my mana pool because, well, there we go. Just by doing that alone, I've doubled the amount of mana that this thing is leeching. Let's see. And now I've tripled. Well, I've tripled what it starts leeching. And now that we've got that going, let's upgrade it. And while we're at it, these gems in the amplifiers are looking a bit pathetic, so after we upgrade this one more time, you know what, I'm going to preemptively put a couple of these down, because why not? Let's go ahead and upgrade these all the way to grade 8. Ooh, maybe I'm weakening these a little bit too much. I need to kill some monsters with shrines. Uh, that's my bottom line right now. So, I don't know. Let's put some of these around here. How much is the next one? Ooh, 90,000. That's not cheap. Hmm. Let's see how we go. Actually, how much damage is this thing doing? Gee, I tell you what, it hits hard, doesn't it? So we're doing about average 15, about around 100,000 per hit, give or take. Probably more, but we'll work with that. 100,000 per shot. So let's say we want our monsters to die after about 3 shots, 300,000. Let's go with that. Let's see how we go against these monsters. Tell you what, playing the newer Gemcrafts, I do not miss this whole angering waves and all that stuff. I'm used to it now because I've been playing this game sort of quasi-religiously for a while now, but So let's get rid of some of these. I want to bring down the range. I want to get more monsters on this line so I can go ahead and clout them with gems like this. Haha. There we go. I've almost got all of the battle amulets for killing monsters with shrines. Just need to do a little bit more. That'll do. I reckon I can get away with a grade 11. And just in case you were wondering why I was making no kills and then all of a sudden I was making some kills, is because the only monsters that were in the kill ranges of this particular shrine were these monsters. So, grade 11, the initial shrine burst kind of weakens them all by a percentage, and then it starts pinging away at all of these monsters. But a grade 11 is able to fire 160 thunder shots at these monsters, but there's less than 160, so it would have started to, after a while, hit the same monsters again and again and again, and eventually that drove them down to make kills. So that just explains why this was not moving at first, and then it went down after a little while. Anyway, I've got that. All I need to worry about now is building 10 towers. You know what? Why not? Let's just get this out of the way right now. Oh, and I've just realized I'm a fool. I put my tower here, thinking I was going to go ahead and make a mana farm here, but I've put a shrine there. And guess what? In Gemcraft Labyrinth, you cannot destroy shrines. They're kind of there permanently. So I screwed myself. Lovely. You know what? Um, hmm. It's fine. So we'll just have a mana farm with 3 amplifiers powering the gem instead of 4. I mean, it's not fine. It's not great, but it's definitely not ideal. But I'll deal with it. And we'll upgrade this as well. Why not? Get some more range and reach. What happens if I send it to random monsters? Will it keep up? Yeah, it looks like it's getting ahead. I can leave it on that. That's fine. Yep, that works. Okay, time to make my mana farm. Let's see. Let's make it like that. And combine that in there. Now I don't have enough to upgrade this yet. Now I do. And again. And let's upgrade these as well. Oh wow, it's actually killing the monsters. Okay, I think that's my hint to go ahead and send through beefier monsters. What are these guys now? What? Okay, only 300. So we'll give these maybe, I don't know, a couple of million. Am I reaching? Possibly, but we'll see how we go. Just a couple more. Whoa, okay, this thing needs to be much stronger. In fact, you know what? Let's go ahead and mix in a little bit less of everything else, and we'll mix in a little bit more of yellow so this thing hits harder. There we go. Now it should hopefully be able to keep up eventually. Now that I've randomly damaged everything, let's clear out some stuff by going for least hit points. Yeah, that's working out okay. And we upgrade, and then we hit more random monsters. Let's upgrade all of these gems in the amplifiers as well, because why not? We don't want them to stray too far. In fact, they should be upgraded a little bit more. Oh, Okay, I've got to pump up these creatures a little bit more. Let's hope I've got enough. I certainly do not. No, I do. Let's keep upgrading all this stuff on the side. Whoa, maybe not. All of a sudden this thing reaches the mana farm. That's not good. Oh wow, it hits really hard too. It's just demolishing everything. What is this thing doing now? Okay, that's why. It's literally one-shotting everything. Uh, okay, now let's try for, I don't know, 10 million? Yeah, 10 million hit points. That sounds like a nice round number. I don't think that'll get me. No, it won't. Perfect. Alright, back to our regularly scheduled program where I was upgrading the mana farm. And the mana pool, because why not? Let's go to 7.05 multiplier. Perfect. There we go. Now we're making stacks. If mana was money, we're making stacks, which is good. Lovely. There we go. We keep upgrading this. Now the sucky thing about a field like this is that I have to cover off 4 entrances. In terms of, you know, creating kill gems, which kind of sucks a little bit because that just means it's just more micromanaging of gems and upgrading them and all that stuff. So I'm not going to lie, they are going to be neglected a little bit as a result, but such is life. And I should be able to go ahead and switch over to just gems in traps soon because very shortly that shadow is going to come in. Now I need 12 of these. Ideally 16. Actually, ideally I should be focusing on my mana farm so that I can get mana faster. That's really what I should be focusing on. Oh, wait a second. Whoops. Well, that was a fail. Um, hmm. I need to actually concentrate on what I'm doing. That'd be good. Okay. Now that I've done that and made a mess of everything, I need to go ahead and buff up these monsters again. It's like the never-ending struggle. There we go. Where's the shadow? Have I killed it already? Alright, let's make the towers. Let's at least just get that done and out of the way. That's done. Alright, perfect. And I've just realized something. I'm not going to bother trying to make the lime and yellow one again. I'm just going to try and get to 7 million as my mana pool as quickly as possible. And then from there, I'll be able to use these and upgrade these even more. Alright, let's go. Yeah, that shouldn't take too much longer. Alright. Tell you what, these are going to be fairly strong gems in traps. Oh, I've just realized. Unfortunately, I already have very strong gem in trap here. This mana farm is actually destroying all of these monsters with 10 million hit points. That's actually not good for me. That actually slows down the amount of mana that I receive. Not good at all. Okay. Now let's just quickly, very quickly analyze and see how much these gems hit. Okay, they hit a lot. I'm not gonna lie. That's around about 50 million, I think, these things can handle. So let's just go with that. 50 million, easily. Hopefully, the mana farm cannot kill monsters with 50 million hit points. Let's see. Let's send it. And here comes the shadow. Blam. And there goes the shadow. Well, that was easy, wasn't it? Lovely. Now, all things being equal, I should be able to just do that. And while I'm at it, I'm going to preemptively load up a few things. May as well unlock all of these because why not? Some OCD people who are watching would like that, and that's perfectly fine. I'll go ahead and get one of these, pop it down there so we've got one in the pocket. I should also upgrade these and put one in there as well. So now I've got copies of everything. So if I make a mistake, I've got some templates to use. And yeah, these gems are working out just fine. So what have we got? A 56, which means now I just need to combine 8 of these and then hope that it doesn't kill the monsters again. And that's it. Next up, 16 of these. And the reason why I'm doing this instead of hovering over it the whole time while holding down D for duplicate is because if you play while holding the mouse over one of your gems or something, which brings up one of these tooltips, it does actually slow down the game because it has to render that, and it does that in real time just in case the information changes. So yeah, it's best to have your mouse hovering over nothing instead of a gem. That's probably the worst thing you can hover your mouse over. It's not just the gem as well. There's all of these little tooltips. They all have information that changes. The mana cost can change and all of that stuff as well. This can change. It can all change. So yeah, absolutely. Well, except for these. But there is still a cost of rendering these info panels, especially because they're transparent. There's a cost to that. So, I mean, a cost in terms of CPU power. So, I was doing the whole touching, not touching, and going back and forth. Basically, only trying to go in and duplicate when I had my mana pool full. Just because in real world time, it's just faster, much faster to do it that way. Look, see? Whereas if I hold it over, see how slow it is? I'm making gems a lot faster like this, even when I do make the odd mistake. But then again, that tactic also, it only is useful up to a certain point, and then it's just better to just do this. I think this is the point, actually. Okay. Speaking of the point, it's about that point where I go ahead and upgrade these monsters. Probably to about 100 million now, because honestly, the mana farm is again killing the monsters, and that's not what you want. I'm pretty sure that these little gems here can take it. Doesn't matter. I'm going to be upgrading all of the gems inside the traps really soon, the kill gems. There we go. Much more powerful. Lovely. And I've just realized something. I've gem weaved this by accident. Whoops. Oh well. So it'll be a little bit stronger than normal. Big deal. Okay. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I just need to get gems up to here. Gee, it is a little bit laggy this time around, isn't it? Oh well. Anyway, there we go. Let's see. Now these are worth 2 each, so if I do that, then that should get me 2 beefy ones again. Yep, put those in there and there. Lovely. And now I'm not going to bother upgrading these gems in the amplifiers because it's just too much. Let's see, so what are we doing now? We're doing quite a bit of damage. We're doing around about, in a single hit, if there are 2 monsters being hit, then that's around about 400. Hold on. 200,000 times 200. Yeah, we're looking at about 8 billion. So, okay. You know what? Let's go ahead and instead make these worth, these monsters, let's give them 1 billion. No, a couple of billion. Why not? That'll be good. They'll be nice and strong. And I'm quite confident that these gems in the traps, these kill gems, will be able to handle these. No worries at all. I'll laugh if they can't. And yeah, it's pretty much the same sort of story going forward. Yeah, these gems, they can handle that. That's fine. They can handle up to 4 times that, I think, quite comfortably. But yeah, these gems, they're just going to go through this same upgrade process, and I'm not going to bore you with the details. It's just me upgrading the mana farm every now and then, upgrading these gems as well, the kill gems, and just going on and on and on until my mana pool is around about either 1.8 or 3.6 billion with its maximum. That's going to take me a while, so I'll pause the video here, and just like that, we are here. Yes, that's right. We've transformed the whole place. In fact, we've transformed it a lot. Let me explain what's going on here. I want to run a few tests. Now, first we have the control test. Okay, this is my personal pick. It's a grade 31 gem. Currently, these are all amplifiers, by the way. I will eventually go ahead and replace that with a tower, put it in there, and see how it does when it comes to killing all of these monsters. I've also gone ahead and pumped up these monsters to ridiculous amounts. Maybe this one a little bit too much because I wasn't paying attention. That's going to be interesting, but not really. I can still easily defeat these monsters with this amount of hit points, no worries. Basically, I've gone ahead and pumped up these waves, not so much for the hit points, but for just the sheer numbers of monsters that are coming in. Because remember, I want to test out Bloodbound and just show you once and for all how terrible it is. And to do that, Bloodbound really does shine through the most when it is being used in a gem that has kills. Not even total kills, but kills. So, okay, what have I got? I've got my grade 31 gem surrounded by grade 28 gems here for lime and yellow. Only my preferred pick. Next to it, we have the same deal, same grades, except with Bloodbound and yellow. And I kind of treated it so Bloodbound was kind of like yellow in this particular one, where there's just a little bit more Bloodbound. Out of the 32 gems I originally mixed together, 17 red ones and 15 yellow ones, just to, I don't know, give it a bit of an extra oomph. Now that we've got that going, lastly, I've got one that has 3 gem components in it. All 3. We've got yellow, we've got red, and we've got lime in here. So we've got a bit of Bloodbound, a little bit of yellow, and a little bit of lime. And that was a mixture of 3 lime, 3 yellow, and 2 red, like that. Just combined and then upgraded. Anyway, we're not going to do that. We get rid of that. We don't need it anymore. Um, Firstly, let's go ahead and test this one now. I suspect it's going to be terrible, but you know what? Never say never. Let's first replace this with a tower, and let's send some monsters in to see how much damage it does. I'm pretty sure it will be able to, will it be able to kill all of these monsters? 217 million, 217 billion. It should still be able to one-shot all of the monsters. So I don't think we'll have any problems with any monsters leaking around, but by the same token, we are also going to pay close attention to the amount of damage, the raw, the lower and upper damage value. So you got your 316 million, no, what am I saying, 360? We got 36 million as your lower bound and 217 million as your upper bound for raw damage. This thing will start to get its bloodbound component going when it makes kills, so let's unpause and give it the chance to actually go ahead and make some kills. Now, let's also just get rid of these kill gems because we don't need these anymore. And, well, I think we're making kills. Are we making kills? Are you making kills? You're making very few kills. That's a concern. Okay, so this gem's going to have to work a little bit harder. Let's have it attack the weakest stuff right now just to get more damage up. And there we go. As it makes kills, slowly. Do you see how little that is going up in damage? What is Bloodbound doing right now? I'll tell you what it's doing. Well, it's doing bugger all because most of these monsters are just too tough. Let's go ahead and maybe, oh, I don't know. Let's help things along, possibly, by, I don't know. Let's do this a couple of times. Not so much to kill monsters or anything, but just to weaken them a little bit so that this gem has much of an easier time, or as easy a time as possible, trying to just make kills, because, well, we can't really test this out very well if it's not making any kills. Also remember that this gem does not have any lime in it, so the attack is not bouncing from monster to monster. This is just one shot for one target. That's it. Ah, this shrine's actually making kills. That's interesting. Unexpected. Please stop. Okay, that's enough. Please stop. Stop. Oh my goodness. Alright, let's do one down here just to weaken these monsters as well. Please don't make too many kills. Oh, for goodness sake. Okay, not the plan. I've lost a few hundred monsters as potential kills to the shrine bursts. That's not what we wanted. And you know what? Just as a little bit of a safety, I'm going to start doing this. Let's get rid of that. Let's make these is my panic gem. Okay, so this thing can attack multiple targets to shock or to slow them down, which is good. In fact, I need one more, just in case I need it. Anyway, here we go. Stop attacking random monsters. Let's attack the ones with the fewest hit points. Now we should make some kills. Yeah, we're not making many kills. To be honest, this is a bit embarrassing, actually. This gem is rather lackluster. Okay, so maybe making a gem with just two components, one of them being red, is not the go. Maybe we need a gem with all three components. Now this looks like a pretty solid kill gem. This is about as good as it gets. It's got some yellow for that extra oomph, just like this one, but it's also got the Bloodbound, just like this one. So we're testing out Bloodbound to see if it actually gives us enough of an extra bonus. But also we've got Lime, which means it can hit multiple targets, which means it's probably going to do a hell of a lot more damage because that attack, even if there's just two monsters, that attack will bounce between those two targets and hit each target basically half the number of times that it can bounce, which is what? I have a feeling when we put this gem in a tower, probably something like 4,000 or 5,000 times it's going to bounce, so it's going to go ahead and hit each target 2,000 times. So whatever the damage is times 2,000, it's clearly going to be better. So let's just get rid of that. That was a bit of a failed experiment, but, well, it's not a failed experiment. It's a successful experiment. We successfully found out that mixing Bloodbound with just lime or even just yellow as a component for a two-component gem is not worth it. And don't worry, had we have instead mixed Bloodbound with lime, then we would have missed out on the extra massive amounts of damage that yellow could give. So either way, lime and yellow, believe it or not, they do pretty much effectively exactly the same amount of extra damage as a component. So testing red with one just means you test it with both, and that seemed to suck, I'm not going to lie. So instead, let's go ahead and start picking off monsters, and let's hope we can get more kills with this gem. So that we can finally get the kill counter up. Ooh, I tell you what, it's starting to lag a little bit. Ah, lag, my old friend. How I have missed you. Not. Okay. Is this one making any kills? Okay, this is much better already, straight off the bat. The other one, we spent quite a bit of time on it, and we made, what, not even 200 kills or something like that. It was pathetic. This one, on the other hand, is already making mincemeat of a lot of things. Okay, we're making a lot of kills. This is much better. And as you can see, I mean, when the game stops lagging, as we're making kills, our damage is going up. How much is it going up? Well, we've got 385% of total kills goes to damage. Well, that's actually not true. The total kills is not what's calculated. It's the kills that's what's calculated. And just to prove that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to do something actually. I'm going to, now let's get rid of that rubbish. This is the template gem that I was using. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create a grade 32 gem with these three components with 0 kills. Then I'm going to put it next to this gem, but only after I've upgraded it to grade 32 by combining it with another grade 31 gem. And I'm going to see whether or not it calculates the total kills or it just calculates the kills. Pretty sure it only calculates the kills, but I just want to triple check that and make sure. Pretty sure it just wipes it and you start again, which really sucks. Oh wow, this is laggy as all heck. Okay, this is our template gem. And lastly, we want to upgrade this one. So instead of attacking the ones that are the weakest, I'm going to have it attack the ones that are nearest to the orb, so it'll focus on this side, so that my mana farm continues to produce mana. Because right now, it's not producing mana. At least nowhere near as much as I want it to. Oh wow. This is super laggy. What have I done? Okay, fantastic. We got rid of some stuff. So we're lagging less. Okay, fair enough. Now, what have we got here? We've got a grade 31 and another grade 31. I'm going to mash these two together. So now this thing, its kill count is 0. Is it different? Oh, it is the total kills. Okay, so I thought that this actually only calculated the kills and not the total kills. I know it says that it's of percentage of total kills goes to damage, but you know what? Well, I didn't think it worked that way, but it seems it does. Fair enough. Anyway, now that we've upgraded it to an insane grade 33, we're giving it more than the best possible chance to thrive here, so let's go ahead and let it do that. Let's give it some more kills. More. Even more. Let's go. Let's pump it right up. So we're making kills, lots of kills, thousands of kills. Up to 15,000 kills just about now, which is pretty good. That's solid. And look at how small of a difference this is making. I did the calculation in another game, just a little test game that I did earlier on off camera. And I'm going to be honest with you, even with 100,000 total kills, a gem like this with the components mixed in at these ratios with Bloodbound, it only seemed to add an extra. The Bloodbound component, it was even higher than this. It was more than 421%. And yet, all it did was it added to, I think, about an extra 448,000 damage extra to the lower and upper bound. Now, if you look at the damage, 69 million to 340 million, if you increase both of those by 500,000, really, seriously, what are you doing? How is that actually benefiting you? So, late game, Bloodbound is absolutely useless. If anything, it just takes away from the potency of your lime and yellow components by turning a 2-component gem into a 3-component gem. And that's the sucky part. That's really the crux of what I'm trying to say here. It's not worth mixing in the extra third color. It doesn't actually make a difference. If anything, the comparable gem, even with 100,000 total kills, comparably, it doesn't do as much damage. I did a damage calculation on these gems by taking the lower bound of the damage, which, by the way, would actually benefit the one with the Bloodbound mixed into it a little bit more. And then I multiplied that by the amount of extra damage done by lime as well as the extra damage done by yellow. And you know what? The gem with just the 2 color components with yellow and lime, it ended up being, what was it, 1.47 times more damaging. So, I don't know how else to put this. Bloodbound is kind of okay very early on in the game, in your journey when you're struggling, and the gem damage, the total damage from gems is quite small. It's especially amazing for when you're just starting out and you're going through the first few fields. Um, Bloodbound can really take your weak gems and turn them into very, very strong, hard-hitting gems. And as you might be able to see on one of my Vidmas's videos from last year, where I went ahead and showed you a quick start for Gemcraft Labyrinth, you'll find that the third field that you play has mana gathering and or mana leeching and bloodbound as the 2 normal gems that are already unlocked on that field. And I showed how you can abuse straight away on your 3rd and 4th battles. You can all of a sudden beat all of endurance on your fourth or fifth battle in from starting a game from fresh. That's where Bloodbound comes in and does an amazing job. It just happens to be a match made in heaven, those two on that particular field, and you can score insane amounts of skill points pretty early on, which basically sets you up for the rest of the game where you won't struggle at all, ever. But outside of that case, when you've already got lots and lots of skill points and so forth, and you've got your resonance, I think, is the skill that goes ahead and applies more damage to your gem normally, then you know what? Bloodbound, its effectiveness, because it's a linear effectiveness and not a exponential linear effectiveness, or an effectiveness that also grows with your other growth in terms of how else you try to make your gems more powerful, it's just not that good. It doesn't scale as a component as in its effectiveness. Look at this. What have we done now? 30,000 kills. Have you even been able to calculate the difference in damage that this thing has grown to? Look at it. The first four significant digits in the damage section have not changed. No, the last four significant digits, I should say. This, even though it's grade 33, is absolute rubbish. Just stick with this. Do yourself a favor. Only use lime and yellow in this game. Gemcraft Labyrinth. Always use Bloodbound in every other Gemcraft game that has it, but not in this one. It's just not worth it. I hope I've made my point. And as for what do? Do you put your end gem in a tower or a trap? It doesn't really matter much. I put mine in a tower just because on fields like this, I only need to create and manage one gem. Whereas, you know, in traps, I would have to create and manage 4 trap gems, which honestly is just real world time. Where's the benefit? There is no benefit. This thing covers the whole area. Chuck it on random targeting priority and just let it go. And just like that, it will go ahead and finish the game for you quite comfortably too. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. I'm going to pause the video until we get to something interesting, which is probably near the very end, so you can at least see the scores and so forth. Oh, have I done everything? Yes, I have. Got all the battle amulets except for the last one. I'm going to have no problems getting that because, let's be honest, I've already hit the maximum for hit points for monsters, and you know what, that armor level, even though it grows slowly over time, it's never going to be an issue because this thing does... What does this thing do? I don't know. I'm going to get the calculator. I'm going to very quickly take an average. So what, 188.6. So yeah, 188 minus 45 plus 6. So that's what, 143.6. Yeah, 143.6 million. 143.6 times 1,000,000 equals, okay, yep, 143.6 million, no surprises there, multiplied by, let's see, 3119.27, because 27% chance, so on average it's 0.27, 3119.27, 9.27 times the lime component, again, 3007.91, 3007.91 equals what? Okay, this particular gem is doing with surrounded by grade 28 gems. That's grade 31 gem, lime and yellow. Let's see, hundreds, thousands, millions, billions, trillions, quadrillions, 1.3 quadrillion damage. So even with 100,000 total kills, the comparable setup with a gem that has these two components and Bloodbound, the best I could get it at was something like, I think it was 850 or 900 trillion, something like that, effective damage. So yeah, not worth it. Absolutely not worth it. I'm going to pause the video until we get to the end. So I will see you. And here we are, finally at the end. And there you go. Lime yellow. Grade 31 gem, surrounded by grade 28 gems in a tower. 4 paths, lots of monsters coming in all directions. Set it to random, and it's not a problem. Went ahead and got every single battle amulet, including this one. Do not let any monster reach your orb. In fact, I think this is the battle amulet that I sometimes did not achieve when I first started doing this and tried to constantly get the the really big high scores at the really big score giving fields and all that stuff. But anyway, that's that. So, in summary, Bloodbound is not worth the effort. By the way, this is the journey amulet that I received for winning 400 battles. So yay, there we go. There's that. I've got that one. Please go ahead and like and subscribe. Give me some comments. Watch my other videos, especially the one from Vidmus. If you do find this game intriguing, you probably should, because you know what? It might not have the most user-friendly interface compared to the two latest games, but you know what? It's still a lot of game. There's still a lot of fun to be had in this game. And the best thing is, it's free. Absolutely free. You used to have to actually pay, I think, for me it was $7 Australian when I went ahead and purchased the premium edition oh so many years ago when I was playing it on Armor Games. But it comes with the premium edition already unlocked. Thank you for supporting independent game developers. That's a nice little message. And yeah, it's free to play. It comes in a bundle over at Game in a Bottle's website in something like Legacy or historical games or something like that. It bundles together the original Gemcraft, which honestly is a little bit of a dog's breakfast to play. Gemcraft Chapter 0, which is a lot more interesting than the original Gemcraft, but also still a little bit of a dog's breakfast to play in terms of user interface. But this one's probably one of the better ones because of it does have a couple of new things in it, which does make it feel a lot more like a modern Gemcraft Labyrinth. But I don't know, there's a couple of quirky aspects that were implemented in Gemcraft Chapter 0 that almost make that just as good to play as this game. It has less fields. Chapter 0 has like 78 fields or something. This one has 169. So many fields to play. By all means, give this game a crack. Doesn't hurt. Download it for free. Give it a shot. If you get stuck, just go ahead and watch my Vidmus video about early game domination or something like that, and I guarantee you'll have plenty of hours of fun because it is a good game. I don't know why I play this. I exclusively actually play this game mostly because I've lost my access to Gemcraft Chasing Shadows. I haven't purchased it on Steam. I used to play it on ARM Games, and you know what? That game has been down ever since Flash stopped being supported on browsers, and there is no real workaround at the moment on ARM Games. So that's where my account was with all of my saves and stuff, and it's all gone for the moment as far as I'm concerned. I don't know. It's been a while since that happened as well, and there doesn't seem to be any hope of any resurrecting Chasing Shadows on Armor Games. By the looks of it, it would have happened by now if it was going to happen. So there you go. My only other option is to play Frostborn Wrath. But you know what? Honestly, at the point I am at with Frostborn Wrath, games take hours. Hours to play. Many, many hours. And just recently I actually played one of those games in Endurance, and I actually lost. Yeah, that's right. I lost in Endurance for the first time in ages. I don't know what happened. I think there were a whole bunch of shadows out at the time. It was on field H4, I believe, or H2, whichever one is the one with two shrines on it. And a whole bunch of shadows were out, and I was actually still trying to upgrade gems and so forth, or something like that. And between the mana burn that was happening with the shadows and the lack of monsters that were on the field over my little mana farms at the starts of the fields, entrances, and just monsters going through the orb for like probably the thousandth time, somehow I just lost. I have to admit that's the first time that's happened to me in Frostborn Wrath. But yeah, all that hard work, I think that was like 5 hours or 6 hours poured into that game, and I just lost. I couldn't believe it. I recorded it, so I should probably quickly put that one up one day. I'll go ahead and edit it and cut it down and just show you, hey, guess what? There's no guarantee you're going to win in endurance. You can lose just to normal everyday monsters, not just spires and stuff, but monsters. Let's see. I think that's about it. So I think I'll just leave it here, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Hopefully I will have cleared up all of the rest of these fields where I haven't got the maximum values. I'll also check over all of the other fields to make sure that I have actually got all of the um, highest values within those fields. Like for example, this one, these two, I'm not so sure. I'm pretty sure I do, but pretty sure I may have accidentally bent it in a couple of these fields while missing one or two journey amulets, or sorry, battle amulets in the way. So I'll go through that painstaking process of visually checking, comparing to this website that has all that information. And I suppose in the next video, we'll be tackling the 5 fields with the crafting pylon. I'll have to learn about how to go ahead and dominate that and get the maximum possible score in those. So I'll see you in those videos. Once again, subscribe, give the video a like, go watch my other videos, give me comments on my videos, and also in the comments section, if you want to see something specific about any of the Gemcraft games, let me know. Chances are I'll probably do it. I'm open to suggestions and requests. Anyway, catch you later.